Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. I'm right in the center of Tokyo. This is Tokyo Station behind me. And I'm getting ready to hit this AD. Now, I'm not in Tokyo to go to an AD. I'm actually here to pick up some capital. That'll be interesting. You'll hear about that in the next couple of days. And so, here I am right in front of this AD, and I thought, okay, I'll stop by. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to stop by, I got to make a video about it. So that's what I'm doing. Now, the interesting question is, what would I do if they had something? If they had a BLNR, would I pick it up? If you'd asked me a few days ago, I'd say, oh, hell yeah. Now I'm not so sure. Wow, why? What do you got cooking, Austin? All right, stay tuned. Now, I've often said that I probably would pick up an OP if I found one. And recently I've come to the realization that I think it would be a mistake. All right, I don't think it would satisfy me. I think the bright blue OP is a beautiful watch. It just, there's two aspects to a watch. There's the form and the function. And I think form is something you really appreciate, but it gets old after a while. It's like a beautiful woman, after you've been with her for 20 years, over 1,000 times. It doesn't quite rock your world in the same way as it did when she first strapped you on. All right, those watch references for you. Okay, so the form, I think, is something that gets old. Function doesn't. And I'm saying that as I cannot wear right now. I mean, the functionality and the number of functions in a watch, they give the gift of information and just keep giving it, and every time you use it, you appreciate the watch a little bit more. And so that's something that just doesn't fade, whereas the appreciation of the aesthetics of a watch does. And so that's why, as interesting and as beautiful as, say, a Milgauss or an Explorer or an OP would be, and as fun as it would be to buy one new at an AD, I just wouldn't do it because it just doesn't have the functionality to satisfy me long term. And I came to that realization the other day when I thought about, getting a Milgauss. I thought, all right, a white Milgauss. This could be it. This could be fun. And I just was looking, and there was just something in me that I was almost already bored of it. And I looked to the future to where I needed the date. I looked down at the date on this thing a lot and appreciate it every time. Hey, what time is it where my mom is? Grandma, as she's known these days. Well, it's just 3 after 10 at night. She's in bed. So form, function, both very, very important. When you have a watch that satisfies both, you got a good thing. If you have to choose, I think I'd go with function, all right? But that's not to say I'd go with a G-Shock. That's crazy, because with a G-Shock, you're missing that X factor, which mechanical watches have. Anyway, enough talk. Let's see if I'm going to be turning away an OP today. By the way, guys, there's also an Omega or Omega shop here, so we'll stop by, see if the new Speedmaster is here. Pretty sure it's not. No brand new iteration of the Speedy, but they did have the previous version. That's the Helsolite on the left. On the right, the Sapphire Sandwich, I want to say. It's got the Sapphire Crystal. And the limited edition Tokyo Olympic Speedmasters, which I always think are interesting. Of course, the white dial is long sold out. Now, as far as popularity goes, this is number 4. All right, this is number 4 in terms of popularity. This is number 5. It's the least popular. And number 3, this is the third most popular. This is according to the staff there. And number 2, the Rising Sun. And actually, the staff there had a Rising Sun. I talked a little bit with him about it, and he broke his out. He had it behind the counter, strapped it on. All right, guys, the Daimaru AD. I actually like that AD. They're pretty nice there. And 37 two-tone pieces in varying dial versions, some with diamonds, some without. A couple of Wimbledon dial two-tones. And And as far as the steel pieces, 7 steel pieces, 5 of which had diamonds on the dial, 2 of which didn't. Let's take a look at those. 2 nearly identical 36mm Datejusts down to the dial. The only difference, the bezel. The left had the smooth steel bezel, the right, the white gold fluted bezel. And I used to call this dial the Buckley dial, but of course Buckleys are painted on. These are applied indices. And there it is on my wrist. 36mm Datejust. I used to think 36mm Datejusts were perfect, but it's looking kind of small. Is that what the Iconaut has done to me? Of course, there's a price difference between these two. If you checked out the tag, you can see that the fluted bezel is about 1,000 and change more. Here's a Datejust 41 with the Wimbledon dial, one of 2. The other one had the Jubilee bracelet. Now, this looks to be just a tad too big. I don't know how, after wearing an Iconaut, I can say that, but it just looks a tad big. All right, so as far as those 36mm Datejusts go, if you're not keen on the white dial and you want to change out the dials, you can. She said that you can get any of the modern dials, but it'll cost you 45,000 yen, and that's about 400 USD. And that's if you just want to have it switched out. If you want to keep the other dial as well, it's 63,000 yen, which is about 600 USD. So interesting. I mean, a blue dialed, either smooth bezel or fluted bezel, Jubilee braceleted 36mm Datejust. You can get them, steel. Cool. All right, guys, so Takashi Maya right behind me. Let's check out what they have at the AD. All right, guys, so they had probably 40 two-tone Datejusts, some rose gold, probably about 6 rose gold, and the rest yellow gold. And then they had a collection of older Datejusts that just haven't sold with the 31 movement. And you can see those right here. So obviously, if these have the 31-35 movement, they've been sitting in that case quite a while. You can see that dial right there. That's called a Jubilee dial. And all of these new old stock pieces either are two-tone or have diamonds in some capacity, or both. They're a little cheaper than the current models. And then they had some steel Datejusts, 36mm, but all of them had diamond dials, every single one of them. So again, if you like diamonds on your Datejusts, diamonds on your watches, you'd have plenty to choose from. These are all steel with the white gold fluted bezel, and there's that Jubilee dial, mother of pearl dial. That mother of pearl dial alone ups the price by thousands. 2 two-tone Wimbledon dials, and yeah, that was about it. Interesting, I asked her which was more popular, the rose gold or the two-tone, and she said the rose gold is easier to wear. And I know what she's talking about because it's more subtle. It's not quite as in your face as the yellow gold. And she said that the yellow gold is more for like older people, and I totally get that. It's more of a older person's gold. It's definitely not as subtle as the rose gold. But yeah, that was it. I mean, they had a lot of diamonds on the dials and the bezels, and yeah, anyway, I mean, obviously I didn't even bring up Steel Sports. I always do when I go there, and I was talking to the same woman. I really like her. She's really nice. I just didn't feel like having her have to make the excuse, and I think we both knew how things stood. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching. Take care. Stay tuned for the next couple days. I'm going to be doing some stuff, all right, to say the least. Take care. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.